Well, no stress either way.
Okay, when I was brought up in Sandymount in an apartment, and the local lads call me a knacker because I didn't live in a big house like they did, because Sandymount's kind of an upper class area.
What age were you?
Oh, I would have been a child, like from the age of about 4 to 12, right? And then the Rings End lads call me a snob because they live in the council flats and we lived in the apartments. So I was always a bit of a loner. I stuck on my own, you know. You know, and I've been like that ever since, really. I suppose.
Okay, and it kind of, that was a recurring theme throughout your teens and all that.
Yeah, and I still would be. You know, I stay on my own. I don't know if it's a protection or a safety thing or something, but I feel most comfortable on my own. You know.
You're an introvert?
Yes. Oh yeah, I'd be an introverted. Yeah, introverted definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to be extroverted. You know, I'd love to do an acting class or something to bring out confidence, but it's just standing up to do things. You know, I can get very uncomfortable, you know. I don't want to go through the feelings. I can do it all with a few drinks or with drugs in me. Can I talk about drugs?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah. If I have drugs in me, I can do these things.
Yeah.
But that's not really. It's kind of false, you know.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think you do.
I'm actually an introvert myself.
Yeah.
And I would have dealt with things like social anxiety and that type of stuff. And through kind of doing stuff like this, like the filmmaking, and I took acting courses and stuff like that, and I had never acted. Like, say, when I was a teenager, I would have wanted to act when I was a teenager, but I wouldn't have had the confidence, you know.
Yeah.
And I started doing. I basically started taking acting classes and doing stuff like that, where you're performing or you're up in front of people sober.
Yeah.
And I did find it helped my confidence and helped me kind of become a bit of an extrovert, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Overcome those uncomfortable feelings of getting up in front of people. I mean, I'd say I can do all that if I've 6 pints in me or 6 tablets in me or bit of cocaine or whatever, or any narcotic for that matter, bar cannabis. But yeah, so will I just continue about
I mean, when did you start taking drugs?
I would have smoked cannabis, and I was in boarding school in Gormanstown out in Meath. I would have smoked cannabis and took LSD, magic mushrooms in school, and then I would have left them alone for a good few years. I was happy, I was in a good job, I was working in a bank. And then a few things, personal things happened to me. My best friend died in a car crash, and I hope I'm not speaking too quick, but
You're not, you're fine.
A few personal traumas happened when I was about 20, about 19 years ago. I'm 39 now, so about 19 years ago, I was about 20, and I kind of lost the plot then. I was working in a good job in a bank, and I used to be very meticulous about what I was wearing and all that, and try and stick to the point, but I lost the plot, and I started taking ecstasy at the weekends, on a Friday, Saturday night, and then on a Thursday night I was craving them. Then I started taking them at lunchtime on Wednesday, and then eventually I lost my job in the bank. And then I turned to heroin because I was unemployed, and heroin's kind of cheap, was cheapish, you know, starting off like, you know, 20 quid a bag, you know.
How much is in a bag? How many grams?
It's an eighth of a gram, a 20 bag.
All right.
Yeah, I think now I can't be 100% sure about that, but I think it's about an eighth of a gram. I never dealt drugs, so I'm not quite sure, but I think it's an eighth of a gram.
And oh, sorry,
Right.
you're all right. Sorry, my fault.
And I would have.
How old were you when you first took heroin?
21, approximately 21, 21. Yeah. Smoking it.
And what's it like?
Very pleasurable. I won't beat around the bush, won't tell you lies. It's very pleasurable. You smoke it. The taste is foul. It doesn't taste nice, but you get over that, you know, because it releases endorphins. It's a painkiller. It's an opiate, so it releases endorphins, loads of serotonin, releases loads of serotonin in your body, you know, that stuff that makes you happy, you know,
Yeah.
endorphins and all that. So it's very pleasurable, I won't lie, it is, that's why you do it. But that's starting off, you see, and then unfortunately it's so addictive that you want it the next day, and you're on the start of an addiction, and bad things are going to happen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, not to everybody, I can't make a sweeping statement like that, but to me it's happened, you know, and I regret it. I regret it very deeply that I took heroin in the first place, you know.
Because I'm assuming you, I'm assuming maybe you took on a new friend group that maybe
Friend group?
as in when you started taking heroin, when you started taking harder drugs, you you know, your whole life changed as regards to people you were hanging out with, maybe your relationship with your family and all that sort of stuff,
Well,
and your jobs and
yeah. Well,
unemployment.
I soon became unemployable. I became kind of dirty. I wasn't looking after myself. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't washing myself. I didn't really have many friends. No, people started cutting me off. The friends that I had from, I suppose, middle class backgrounds would have cut me off, and they were taking cocaine and stuff, and that was okay for them. But heroin was that wasn't okay in that social setting. It's okay in other social settings. I think you know what I'm talking about. But
as in, basically, social groups will kind of pick and choose what's acceptable to them, drugs wise. They'll smoke weed, they'll take cocaine, but they won't do heroin, or they might take acid and shrooms. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just became just like the loner, like that I was as a kid, you know, and I've been like that ever since. And I've just become very unhappy now on it, you know. I'm on a methadone clinic 13 years. That's the results of it, because soon you can't afford the addiction. So your choice is: am I going to rob for it? Am I going to sell my body? Am I going to do things I don't want to do to get money to get it? Or your choice is the methadone clinic, where methadone is free, given out by the HSE, the government. There's clinics all over Dublin, all over Ireland, well, mainly in Dublin. But so I went down that route. That was 13 years ago. I would have stayed on heroin up until that, and then 13 years ago I started on the methadone, and it's very hard to get off, and it's a big regret, you know. I'm on 60 mils now, which isn't, it's in the middle. It's not a huge amount, but it's not a small amount. It's kind of in the middle of the road sort of amount.
Okay, and you're not homeless?
I'm not homeless, no.
Have you ever been homeless?
No, I've slept rough a few. Well, term homeless. I've been in homeless hostels for. I was in homeless hostels for about eight years, around the city centre. I won't mention them, but just around the city centre, just the homeless hostels. Well, the Ivy Hostel was one. I was in there, you know, for 5 years. Then a few other ones. Fairly rough places now, intimidating. I would have got assaulted a few times, bullied, you know. They're full of drugs, full of addiction, alcoholism, drug addiction. Oh, nice places, but I managed to get out of it. I have a flat, I live on my own. It's just, the flat's great, and I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but the one thing is loneliness, and that's why I go out, and I end up bringing back the wrong people, and my flat turned into a shooting gallery at one stage, you know. I was bringing back people. A shooting gallery means people come back and they're all banging up, you know. And they're just using you for your flat. And they probably give you a bag. They give you a bag of smack, you know, heroin, to use your flat to have a turn on. Because it's very hard to do heroin outdoors, you know, because you need to be indoors logistically, you know, like to cook it up on a spoon, like, because it's windy outside, you know. You need indoors. It's much more practical, you know, like so yeah, it's a huge regret, because I had a good career starting off, and I kind of made a mess of it all, you know. And I'm finding it very hard. I'm finding it really hard now to make the transition to go into a treatment centre. I've been in treatment 6 times before, 2 detoxes, 4 treatment centres. I'm one of the most expensive ones, the Rutland Centre, which is roughly about 20 grand, you know.
And that was sponsored by somebody else, or the government, or?
At the time I had health insurance, yeah, I think. My mother might have paid for it, I'm not sure, but I would have been very young. My addiction it was very minor at the time. It wasn't as serious, you know, where now it is kind of, you know. I'm out begging on the street, and it's gone pretty ugly now, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting much pleasure out of the drugs, you know. I'm not getting as much pleasure as I used to, you know. See, they kind of stop working after a while. Your body becomes kind of immune to them, and they don't tick. Like heroin used to make me feel 5-star, which is tick all the boxes, where now it doesn't really anymore, you know.
So just like, what are you into as a person? Like, do you like books? Do you like CDs?
I do.
Do you like music?
Yeah, I do. But unfortunately, drugs rob you of these things. I like sports. I like football. Tottenham Hotspur is my team. You know. I used to love golf. I used to love all sports. You know, GAA, rugby, soccer, politics. Interest in American politics, JFK in particular and stuff. But drugs rob you of these things, you see. Because drugs take over your life and it becomes your sole obsession. It becomes an obsession. But you act on this obsession. Like you'll go out and you'll beg, as I do, to get money to get the substance, you know.
When you're begging, how do you find people treat you on the street?
Pretty good, I gotta say. Most people are pretty good. They're pretty caring. Irish people are pretty caring. Tourists won't really give you a penny. And that's probably reasonable because they're probably told not to, you know. Don't get involved with these people. Maybe they're mentally unstable or whatever. And you know, I am on other medications for my mind. As I mentioned to you before, I'm on medications for schizophrenia. They've never been diagnosed with schizophrenia. I've been in psychiatric units twice, but they say it was more for my addiction, really, you know. And then I've been in detox centres and 4 treatment centres. I've tried God, I've tried religion, born again Christianity, these kind of places, and nothing was really long lasting. I have a lot of anger in me, and it's probably to do with my addiction and probably the mess I made in my life, you know. And I'm afraid where it's going to end up. Like some of the, although I'm not allowed, it's kind of anonymous, but some of the support groups will say that addiction leads you to jails, institutions and death. So I can kind of see where this is going if I don't stop, and that fear is with me all the time.
Were you angry before you became an addict?
Yes, I was, yeah. I had anger as a kid, yeah.
What were you angry about?
I don't know. I'm unable to verbalise that. I don't know, sir. Just angry. My parents were separated. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. I don't know. And my father wasn't a bit of a bully with drink on him. He'd come in with full of whiskey. I won't use bad language, but he'd say, "What are you effing watching on TV?" in his flat. He took me to weekends, you see, you know. I first met him when I was 7. My mum would have raised me till then, and she needed a break at the weekend, so I was carted off to my father's flat up in Rathmines area. And he was pretty narky with drink, you know, a bit of a bully, especially with me. Not to my sister, but to me.
You said, you mentioned off camera that you had like a romantic idea of the addict before you became addicted. Is that fair to say that you wanted to be the addict?
I was a bit of a wannabe, yeah. I was a bit of a wannabe, yeah. I wanted to try heroin. I actually wanted to try heroin.
Did you think it was like...
And I was living in a flat in Rathgar at the time, Harold's Cross area, and I knew Dolphins... Am I allowed to mention areas?
Oh, sure.
Well, I knew Dolphins Barn was only down the canal, you know, 2 locks of the canal. So I got on my bike one day, I went down, didn't know anybody from Adam, but I knew I could score. I had 20 quid, I knew how much it was, I knew how to smoke it because I smoked it once before. So I went down and scored, got my bag, brought it home, did the first line, vomited, and got that out of my system, and then finished off the bag, and it was very pleasurable, you know. And then it just led on and on and on, and I got into syringes then, and picked up hepatitis C as a result, and I'm lucky I haven't picked up the virus yet. Now I've got to get checked on that. I mean, HIV I'm talking about. We call it the virus, be the street sort of name for it, you know. It's HIV I'm talking about. But if hepatitis C, it's a liver disease, you know, so I shouldn't be drinking, and I do drink nearly every day, you know. I'd be an alcoholic as well, you know.
As regards moving forward, what the government or the public can do you feel like the government or the public can do anything to help you recover?
I do. I think the government should be a lot more stricter when it comes to the methadone clinics. I think there should be stipulations and rules, like this crack of, I was told methadone was brought in the 70s, early 80s, to wean you off heroin, like a 6-month sort of a thing. This crack, this lark of leaving you on it for life, going a lifer on a clinic every day, Groundhog Day, going in to get a cup, drinking it back at the hatch. And they're intimidating places, particularly the one I'm on, Pearse Street. It's you got to go through metal detectors, like the airport. You get scanned, and you got to take out all your pockets, all metals. You're not allowed to bring in any drinks or anything because there could be alcohol in it. You can't smoke in these places. They're very tense sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's bullying that goes on. I've been bullied personally by staff and by other clients because I'm a bit of a fish out of water. Maybe I speak a bit different, maybe I look a bit different, I don't know. But
in what way were you bullied by staff?
Playing mind games with me, just saying things about me, knowing that I can hear,
Like passive aggressive kind of bullying, or?
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah, they never physically hit me now or anything, but and I'm not mentioning any names or anything like this. Got to be prudent about this, but just being very kind of a bit nasty, Now maybe I brought it on myself a bit. I can be a bit cranky, I'm not perfect, I'm a bit of a cranky addict, especially if I haven't got my tablets in the morning. If I haven't got my Zimavane in the morning, they're a sleeping tablet, but the addicts would take. We don't take them like normal people, like 2 at night, like you're supposed to. You would take maybe 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah. Just
to get your head together, like so to speak. So if I don't have them or something in the morning to give me a lift, this is even before I go to the clinic. This is before I get my methadone. I need drugs, like to go to the clinic. That's the problem. That's where addiction gets worse. They say it's progressive. And eventually you'll need drugs to do anything. To have a shower, to eat, you'll need drugs to do anything, Well, that's the way it is with me anyway.
Over the next year, over the next couple of years, do you have any kind of idea of what you're going to do? Do you have a plan, a strategy?
I don't know. I mean, the dream would be to go to treatment and kick this habit, Although they say it'll be prudent here, but in the support groups, I'll just leave it at that. But the support groups say you'll always be an addict, and the best you can hope for is a daily reprieve, 24-hour reprieve, Well, say 16 hours if you're asleep for 8 hours. So the support groups, I'm not going to mention them because they're anonymous, and you're not supposed to really mention their names. But we know what they know what they are. Yeah.
The ideal is just you'd like to go into kind of some rehabilitation facility.
Yeah.
And
it's just financially, I haven't got the money to go to the places that I would like to go to,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'd have to get off methadone first and all the other substances that I'm on to get into somewhere like the Rutland Centre, and I don't have 20,000. The HSE does fund, but I'd have to do a detox first, and it's just a sickness. I just don't want to go through it again. I've been through it maybe 4 or 5 times, and it's hell. It's not nice. It's just so uncomfortable. It's beyond belief, I mean, it's doable. It's a bit of pain, but I don't handle pain very well, Like some addicts say, if I get a sneeze, I think I'm sick or something, addicts, people think addicts are very tough and stuff, but really it's a weakness of some sort, because if you have to rely on a substance or a drink, well, a drink is a drug, really, Like if you have to rely on a drug to get through a day, that's more of a weakness. It might be covered up with tattoos and shaved heads and stuff like that. That's more of an image thing,
Yeah.
A persona, sort of an image, But really it's a weakness of some sort. But it's an illness, really, Like
if you were going to work a job, what would you want to do?
Dream job?
Yeah.
To be an actor.
No way.
Yeah. If I had the confidence to do it sober.
Have you ever acted in anything?
Not really, except for school and school plays or something.
Who's your favourite actor?
I like Colin Farrell. I like Sean Penn. Obviously Al Pacino, all the big ones.
I was going to say Al Pacino, yeah.
Yeah, but I like Sean Penn in particular, and I like Gary Oldman, who played Lee Harvey Oswald in JFK. I like Kevin Costner. Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
And
what's your favourite movie?
JFK.
I haven't seen it.
Oliver Stone's film JFK, about the American president who was assassinated on the 22nd of November 1963. Yeah. conspiracy theories about it, you know.
You seem to be a pretty academic guy.
Well, I got my leaving cert. I've no third level. I attempted it a few times. The discipline isn't there, you know. Well, it probably is there. I just lack motivation, and that's where I fall down when it comes to treatment, because treatment centres requires a lot of motivation.
Do you think one of the more important qualities to be a successful person would be discipline? Not necessarily your talent, but your discipline and your to be motivated and to want to win.
Totally, yeah. To get up in the morning
and to take failure well, maybe.
Nothing wrong with having a beard, like, but to get up in the morning, to have a shave, wash your teeth, have a shower, look after yourself, eat your breakfast, put on nice clean clothes, you know, look after yourself. Stuff that I'm not doing. I'm clean now, but I don't look after myself a lot of the time, you know. I let myself go, you know. Become a bit dirty, a bit... I don't mind saying this in front of camera, but you know, I don't look after myself sometimes. I don't eat well, I don't shower well, and I have a flat with all these things, but it's like there's no one to do it for, you know. I should be doing it. That shouldn't be a reason. I should have enough. It's like I lack pride or something, you know. I used to have these things, but they were based on a foundation of kind of an address of where I lived, you know, or something like that.
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? Well, I was living with my mum and her boyfriend, and there's a nice part.
So you were proud of being from a better area? Is that it?
Well, I wouldn't use the word better area. I don't want to insult other areas, but I was living in a wealthy area and I liked it. Okay, I got to be honest with you, yeah. So, yeah. It wasn't our money though. It was my mom's boyfriend's money. Yeah.
Listen, man, thanks so much. I really enjoyed the interview.
Sure.
I hope you enjoyed it yourself. And thanks so much.
It's been okay.
Yeah.
No
Cheers,
problem.
bro.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.